In this lesson, we'll explore the Dragonfly cut fabric form. Most sewing and quilt shops will pre-cut specific lengths of material off the bolts of popular fabrics. These pieces may be put on the shelf for individual sale or included in project kits. However, once the pieces are cut, it can be a challenge to keep track of those individual pieces in your store inventory. The cut fabric form was designed to make it easier to manage those cut pieces. In order to track cut pieces with accuracy, each specific cut piece size must be maintained as a separate product in your overall products list. Traditionally, this has created a lot of work for the store owner, as each new piece product must be created individually, then the inventory of those cut pieces must be updated each time new pieces are cut. Because this can be a lot of work, many stores will just create generic cut piece products, such as $3.99 fat quarters, and assign the new fat quarters they create into that generic product. But once that happens, it is no longer possible to track the number of pieces you have for a specific fabric. And because the cut pieces are no longer associated with the original fabric, you won't know when you need to make new pieces or how well those pieces are selling. To address these challenges, Dragonfly uses the concept of subproducts for cut fabric pieces. For each size of cut piece you make for each fabric, the application will automatically create a subproduct for that fabric and piece size combination. The subproduct has most of the same attributes as the parent fabric, but with a few changes. First, the subproduct SKU is a copy of the parent fabric SKU, with a suffix added to indicate the piece size. Second, the subproduct is no longer listed as a linear product, so the clerk won't be prompted for a length when the piece is scanned at the point of sale. Let's walk through the process to help make things more clear. Begin by selecting one or more fabrics that you want to make cut pieces for. The quick search field works in the standard manner, searching across all fabrics that are in the filter shown in the search filter field. By default, the All Records filter includes only products that are marked as linear products. This includes fabric, ribbons, and anything else that you sell by length. You can use the pop-up filter form to select a group of fabrics. If you change the filter using the drop-down list of filters, no new fabrics will be added to the list, but the fast search will now search only within the filtered set. When you click on an added fabric, the current pieces list will show you the existing inventory of cut pieces for that fabric. Once you have selected the fabrics to be cut, you need to define the cut details. First, select the type of piece that you want to create. This drop-down list will include all the piece types you have defined on the Cut Fabric Definitions form. The 4 types of pieces shown here are defined by default, but you can define additional piece sizes that you frequently cut. Next, enter the number of pieces you will be creating for each selected fabric. Then identify how the cut piece will be tracked in inventory. We recommend that you use the specific subproduct option, which will create a separate subproduct in inventory for each fabric and piece type combination. If you use generic cut piece collections, these will be listed on the drop-down list as well. These collections are identified by adding them to the generic cut piece category on the products form. If you select one of these collections, the price for that piece type will be entered in the price field. If you select the subproduct option, the price field will be left blank. If all the pieces will have the same price, you can enter that price here. If you leave the price field blank, the price piece will be calculated for each fabric, based on the full yard price of the fabric and the quantity of fabric in the piece. For example, if a fabric has a retail price of $19.99, the price of a fat quarter piece will be set at $5. You can change prices on a piece-by-piece basis, as we'll explain in a bit. Once these 4 fields have been set as desired, select one or more fabrics from the selected fabrics list, then click the Add to Cuts List button. Each of the selected fabrics will be added to the list, with the selected piece details. The cuts list is provided as a summary of what pieces you will be cutting, with some details to make the job easier for the person making the cuts. For each fabric, the list will show the 4 attributes you assigned plus the SKU of the cut piece. Also listed are the width of the full-length strips you will be cutting, the total number of full-length strips you will need, and the number of pieces you can get out of each strip. For example, to create 4 fat quarters, you will need 2 18-inch strips, with 2 pieces for each strip. You can continue to add fabrics to the cuts list in the same manner. You can also mix and match piece types on the list. If necessary, you can change the pieces required or the price at the individual line level. At this point, the required cuts have been listed, but the inventory has not been updated yet. To finalize the cuts list and make the necessary changes to the inventory, click the Make Cuts button. You will be prompted for confirmation, then the inventory will be updated. The quantity of the fabric on each bolt will be decreased by the yardage needed to make the cut pieces, and the number of cut pieces for that fabric will be increased by the number of pieces made. Additionally, the total yardage of cut pieces for each fabric will be increased. If your cutting table is near your Dragonfly computer, you can use the cuts list to track the completion of the physical cuts as you make them. Simply click the box in the Done column as you complete the cuts for each fabric on the list. If your cutting table is not near your Dragonfly workstation, click the Print Cut List button to print a copy of the cuts list, which can be used to let the person at the cutting table know which cuts are needed. If you want to make a label for each cut piece, you can do so by clicking the Print All Labels button, or by selecting one or more rows in the cuts list and clicking the Print Selected Labels button. Each button will present a confirmation window before sending the request to the label printer. When the Make Cuts button is pressed and the inventory is updated, the rows are all marked internally as completed, so clicking the Make Cuts button again won't repeat the inventory changes. But the rows are not cleared unless you remove individual rows by clicking the X button in the first column, or by clicking the Clear Cuts label. But please note, once the list is cleared, it will not be possible to bring the list back up to list the cuts again. Be sure you make the physical cuts or print the cuts list before clearing the list. After the pieces are cut, they can be displayed for individual sale or added to kits using the Kit Builder form. For cut pieces that are needed for kits, you can predefine the pieces here, then add them to the kits, or you can create the pieces automatically as the kits are assembled. We recommend pre-creating the pieces here, as it gives you an easy way to generate the cuts list for the folks at the cutting table.